Begin with a report in the Wall Street Journal on a potential normalization deal between Israel and Saudi Arabia, something we have spoken about quite a lot on this show. Well, the report claims that Riyadh wants the United States to provide security guarantees and help it develop its civilian nuclear program as part of any deal to recognize Israel. Well, our Middle East correspondent Ariel Oseran is with me in the studio, as is the former Israeli ambassador to the United States, Dr. Michael Oren. Good evening to you both. So, Ariel, what is new in this report?
Well, Laura, I think it's interesting. What is new about this report from the Wall Street Journal is that we know that this request has been made, that Riyadh is asking Washington for this assistance. I think I personally would change the order. I think they're saying, if you want us to normalize relations with Israel, help us establish a civilian nuclear program. That's, I think, how the Saudis are presenting this, and it would play off also what we're hearing in recent months by Prime Minister Netanyahu, who is trying to present normalization with Saudi Arabia as like this crown jewel, his main goal, as the end game of the Abraham Accords. And this obviously would be a step in the right direction. Now, if we're looking at what is new, back in December, actually, we at I-24, our own Guy Israel, he revealed that these demands were already portrayed to Washington already back at the end of 2022. He was citing an American delegation to Riyadh organized by the Washington Institute that met with Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. The Crown Prince was asked what would bring Saudi Arabia to join the Abraham Accords and normalize ties with Israel. There were three demands. One of them was to allow Saudi Arabia to exploit their extensive uranium reserves for a restricted civil nuclear program.
Right, Ambassador Oren, another nuclear state in the Middle East. Would Washington be on board with that?
I think I'm skeptical about the whole story. I gotta tell you, forgive me. Saudi Arabia wants to build a civilian nuclear. It doesn't need the United States to do that. It's got certainly the wherewithal to do it in terms of its finances. It could turn to France. It could turn to any number of countries. And France, as you know, has been active in the Middle East in building nuclear installations, as has Russia. Russia has contracted to build 8 nuclear facilities in Iran. It has built the nuclear facility at Cellier. It doesn't need a green light from Washington to do this. I think it needs more importantly a green light from Israel. Israel is concerned about nuclear proliferation in the Middle East, and if this civilian program in Saudi Arabia would be built under the auspices of an organization called IRENA, the International Renewable Energy Agency, which is headquartered in Dubai, and Israel cooperation with Dubai in IRENA has been gone on for something like 15 years. Under that agreement, the fissile material, the enriched uranium, would not remain in Saudi Arabia. And Saudi Arabia actually would not have the right to enrich uranium like the Iranians are doing now. And that would really render the program truly civilian and not military, and I think that would allay a lot of Israeli fears. I think the major point here is the security guarantees for Saudi Arabia. And I think that what the Saudis will be looking for is a very ironclad American promise to protect Saudi Arabia from Iranian aggression.
Because those security guarantees were put in question over the Saudi-led war in Yemen, of course. President Biden said right at the beginning of his presidency he wanted to end weapon sales to Saudi Arabia.
Right, but I think that would be definitely renewed under this agreement.
You think the Americans would go for that?
I think, I just came back from the United States now from a campus tour, and people asked me whether the United States can help bridge an agreement between Israel and the United States. I think there's probably a bigger chance that Israel can help bridge a reconciliation between the United States and Saudi Arabia.